Hi guys, welcome to Psyched Out Slick. Today we're going to be talking about waking up to the truth because a lot of what we've been told has been a lie and we need to start waking up to reality. And we're also going to learn about a great philosopher, Plato, and his idea of allegory of the caves and how that applies to reality and truth and how we perceive truth. I just want to start out by saying I do apologize. I'm not in my normal, computer area. I have been struggling with my fibromyalgia. I currently can't really walk or get out of bed. So this is what we're doing today. We're going to stream in bed. So let's go ahead and talk about some of these instances that I feel like I've been starting to wake up, and then we're going to talk about Plato's allegory of the cave. Let's talk about this tweet that I saw. It says, once you wake up, you don't see politics, entertainment, or celebrities anymore. You just see liars, thieves, cheats, actors, narcissists, tyrants, fools, psyops, puppets, controlled opposition, and satanic rituals. Yes, that is me. I have been on an evolution for years, but I feel like as I've been continuing to uncover more truths, the more society tries to tell you that you're crazy and that it's a conspiracy theory. And I think that we need to start thinking critically and not just assuming what we're told is truth. And I think a lot of the times our education system has taught us just to regurgitate information rather than to think critically, because they don't want us to think critically. They're trying to keep us as slaves, in my opinion. So let me know, have you guys feel like you've woken up to any of these things? Do you see, politics, entertainment, celebrities as more than just that, but more like propaganda and controlled opposition to be able to get their agenda met? That's where I'm standing, at least. Then I posted this one. I saw it, I thought it was really good. And it says, oldie but a goodie. Dad, is Santa Claus a hoax? Of course not, son. Think how many people would have to be in on it. That to me is so relevant to what we're talking about today, because think about how these children are raised and everyone just parrots the same thing about Santa Claus, and that, you better be good or you're going to be on his naughty list and you're not going to get as many presents, and that they believe that that's their reality. That's what they've been told from childhood. So that's what they start to believe as part of their reality. And, I don't know if you remember, but the first person that told you that Santa Claus wasn't real, weren't you like, nuh-uh, no way? And you didn't want to believe it because that would just be too much. Your parents are lying to you. Everyone is lying to you about Santa? Yes, they are. And they're lying to us about a lot of other things. And I think that's where I want us to start today, is waking up to the truth. You can see right here what I posted. I'm not going to say it out loud just because of the algorithm, but I think we need to start waking up to what people are considering propaganda. And if they're using the word conspiracy theory to discredit you and to make you feel stupid, and to other people to then make you not want to say it out loud because you don't want to be found to be stupid or not believing what the masses believe in. I've talked about this in other videos, but I think the moon landing is not what they say it is. I think there's a lot of evidence that points to it not being what they say it is, and it reminds me of this Santa Claus hoax. We're all told this one thing, and then the media repeats it and repeats it, and then if you question that narrative, you're all of a sudden crazy, and everyone's like attacking you. It's weird how they get so defensive over if you question the narrative, the official narrative. Alright, so let's go to the allegory of the caves. So I find this so relevant because I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the allegory of the caves. We're going to go over it, but basically it's the idea of these children that have been imprisoned in these caves from childhood, and they're only shown these shadows on the wall from these puppeteers that are behind the fire that are creating these shadows. And so to them, any noise that's coming out from behind them is bouncing off of the walls, and they feel like it's coming from the shadows and that the shadows is their reality. But the thing is that there's people behind them that are actually creating their reality. And then there is someone that escapes the cave and realizes, wait, there's more to this than they've been telling us. These shadows aren't the reality. They go back and try to tell people, and they get defensive and angry with that person for telling them. So think about that. Is that where we're at? Does the deep state use psychology and philosophy against us? My answer is yes, they definitely do. So let's look at this. So it says, so imprisonment in the caves. It says, Plato begins by having Socrates ask Glaucon, I don't know that name, to imagine a cave where people have been imprisoned from childhood. These prisons are chained so that their legs and necks are fixed, forcing them to gaze at the wall in front of them and to not look around the cave, each other or themselves. Behind the prisoners is a fire, and between the fire and the prisoner is a raised walkway with a low wall behind where people walk carrying objects or puppets of men and other living things. The people walk behind the wall so their bodies do not cast shadows from the prisoners to see. But the objects they carry shadows. The prisoners cannot see any of what's happening behind them. They are only able to see the shadows cast upon the cave's wall in front of them. The sounds of the people talking echo off the walls. The prisoners believe these sounds come from the shadows. Then Socrates suggested that the shadows are reality for the prisoners because they have never seen anything else. They do not realize what they see are shadows of objects in front of a fire, much less that these objects are inspired by real things outside the cave which they do not see. So this gives you a perspective about who are the puppeteers that are controlling the shadows, and are we the prisoners that are only allowed to focus our eyes on one story? And if we question that narrative or story, then we're seen as crazy. Let's go to the next part of the story of the departure of the cave. So it says that Socrates then supposes that a prisoner is released. A free prisoner would look around and see the fire. The light would hurt his eyes and make it difficult for him to see the objects casting the shadows. If he were told that what he is seeing is real instead of what other versions of reality he sees on the wall, he would not believe it. So notice how it says here, if he were told what he is seeing is real instead of the other visions of reality he sees on the walls, he would not believe it. Does that resemble a lot of some of the conspiracy theories that have been consumed by the public, and how a lot of those conspiracy theories are then not believed, even though they're not even really theories anymore. They're real conspiracies, things that the government's trying to hide from us. So again, even if they're told what the truth is, they may not even believe it because they've been programmed from childhood to believe this one way of thinking and believing. So then think about people that are then raised in certain families of abuse, and they're raised into thinking that that's just normal, and then when they grow up and they become adults, they realize, wait, that wasn't so normal, right? That reality starts to shift for them. You start to wake up to the truth. So my question is for you guys, what are some truths that you guys have been waking up to? There are a lot of different things in the world that we're being told, and I think that it's silly for us to just accept those narratives as truth. I think we need to critically think about them, assess the information for ourselves and the facts, and that way we can come to our own conclusion rather than just believing what we're told. I don't want you guys to believe me and what you're listening to right now. Do your own research. Let this kind of turn on a light bulb in your head and say, you know what, maybe I want to look into this. Maybe there are some things that are a little fishy that I've been told, and to accept the official narrative, and maybe I need to question that. So let's keep going. So he says, the free prisoner would turn away and run back to what he is accustomed to. The light would hurt his eyes, and he would escape by turning away to the things which he was able to look at, and these he would believe to be clearer than what was shown to him. Socrates continues, suppose that someone should drag him by force up the rough ascent, the steep way up, and never stop until he could drag him out of the light of the sun. The prisoner would be angry and in pain, and this would only worsen when the radiant light of the sun overwhelms his eyes and blinds him. So again, someone that's trying to bring you to the truth, they're sometimes going to be the ones kind of getting the anger and the nasty reactions, because people aren't going to necessarily want to wake up to the truth and hear what you have to say. Sometimes they have to come to the truth on their own understanding. And I also think this is relevant to this most recent election. I think if Trump would have won the 2020 election, which we're not going to get into that, if he would have won that year, the people would have continued to get angry at him and not want to listen to him. But because he lost and the left was able to show their ways of how they destroyed the country, basically, and our economy, and let in all these migrants, I think that helped other people start to wake up on their own rather than being drug out and forced to see the truth. And now they're accepting of him, and that's why I think he won with a landslide. And that's also why I think 2024 is the best year for him to have won, because now he doesn't have as much opposition. There are people that didn't support him before that now support him, and I think that that was necessary. Because if we would have forced people to like Trump, they would have still hate him. But because they were allowed to see the truth with their own eyes, now they're starting to come to the real side of things and wake up. And I think that is really important. So if you're hearing me and you feel like you've kind of been duped into thinking one way, you're allowed to change your mind. I've changed my mind. I have thought one way and changed it and thought another. That's why this whole topic is waking up to the truth, because I was once in the dark and now I am in the light, and everything done in the dark will come to the light. So I encourage you guys, start looking and leaning into that light. All right. So let's see. The return to the cave. So it says, Socrates continues, saying that the free prisoner would think that the world outside the cave was superior to the world he experienced in the cave, and attempt to share this with the prisoners remaining in the cave, attempting to bring them out, bringing them onto the journey he had just endured. He would bless himself for the change and pity for the other prisoners, and would want to bring his fellow cave dwellers out of the cave and into the sunlight. That's how I feel. I feel like I am a prisoner that has left the cave, and I realize that there is more truth out there than what we've been told. and I'm a prisoner going back to the cave trying to enlighten everybody else and tell you, look, this has been my journey. I want you to go on this journey too. And I really hope that this does encourage you to start going on a journey of researching things on your own. Don't take my word for it or some other YouTuber. Definitely don't take the mainstream media's information as truth. Do your own research. I think that's the day and age that we're in, where we have to search through and find our own answers. It's not going to be just given to us, and we shouldn't accept what's just given to us either. The returning prisoner, whose eyes have become accustomed to the sunlight, would be blind when he re-entered the cave, just as he was when he was first exposed to the sun. The prisoners who remained, according to the dialogue, would infer from the returning man's blindness that the journey out of the cave had harmed him and that they should not undertake a similar journey. Socrates concludes that the prisoners, if they were able, would therefore reach out and kill anyone who attempted to drag them out of their cave. So, don't kill me. I am trying to drag you out of your cave, but it's only for your benefit. I think that it has been really enlightening for me to leave the cave and to see the sunlight, which I think here the metaphor for the sun is the truth. I think that the sun enlightens and shines a light on the truth, and the prisoner was able to see that, and he's just trying to bring that back, the sunlight back to his fellow prisoners. And I hope that I can continue to bring that sunlight back and that you guys are open to receiving some of that sunlight, aka truth. So really quick, I also just wanted to point out some of these things. It says the allegory of the caves delves into the philosophical thought of truth and how those with different experiences or backgrounds may perceive it. So I also want to highlight that our truth can be shaped by our own perspective and things that we've been through. So I think that's also why politics can be very polarizing, because someone might have a way of thinking and that's shaped by their own reality. And my own reality has shaped my political opinions and beliefs. So I think we also have to be mindful of that there may be two different experiences, and that might be also impacting how we perceive reality. This one's about the puppets, the puppet masters, really. So think about in our reality, who is pulling the strings? Is it the government? Is it the globalist? Is it other countries? Is it the deep state? However you want to classify that. I want you to really think about who's pulling the strings, who is stringing to create the shadows that the prisoners mistake for reality. And what are those shadows? What is the fake reality? I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you're able to critically think about this in ways that maybe you haven't before, and thinking about some of the things that have happened in our society and question the truth that we're given, and start researching on your own and find your own truth. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback on some of the shadows or fake truths that you guys feel like you've been fed, and times where you've been able to wake up. What woke you up? Was it a certain person? Was it a certain event? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear everyone's perspective on that. Well, thank you guys so much for joining. I hope to see you guys again soon. Please subscribe. Don't miss any new content. It was great to see you all. Welcome to Psyched Out Slick. Bye.